Well, hello there. You're watching OffBeat Business TV or listening to the OffBeat Business Show on OBBM Radio or the OBBM Network podcast. My name is Susan Hamilton, and I'm here today with Christine Eustice.
Hi.
You're listening to the OffBeat Business Show, rebuilding American business influence locally, nationally, and abroad, bringing you experienced insight for a strong, influential brand and successful life in business. Here's your host, Susan Hamilton.
Hey, Benchmark Interiors does a whole lot more than I realized.
Right.
So you are just coming off a presidency with the National Association of Interior Designers?
It's the Texas chapter of the American Society of Interior Designers. So it's actually a national organization headquartered in Washington, D.C., and our chapter is just one of probably about 48 chapters throughout the United States.
That's pretty interesting. And you know what, as I started talking with you, I realized just how vital that information is to the local family business, because we know our audience. We know who we're talking to.
Right.
We're talking about to that 80% of American micro to small business that tend to be family-owned businesses of 9 employees or less.
Right.
And we know that means they're building their business while they're raising their kids. Well, that means their home office is pretty important, right?
Yes.
They're probably doing all of that while they're taking care of a parent. So how they have that set up, right? Whether they're a caregiver or simply residing together, right? Those are all things that we need to think about. Have a dog in the place, right? All of a sudden that adds a new dynamic. We probably have military or veteran, active duty, fire department, police department in our home or workspace, and more, about 30 to 50% of us have an addict in the family or workspace. Right. And mental health is an issue. And as we were talking about interior design, you kept hitting on all the points that I'm like, those are the things we're not thinking about. Right. When we just go through the day, go through the rigmarole of our, just the regularness of the day, when instead of building strategically and building importantly to accommodate the needs of our families in business today.
Well, really and truly, interior design needs to start at the preliminary stages, at the planning stages. So to make sure that someone is healthy in their environment, it's not just about the aesthetics. It's very important that whoever's in that environment will be healthy, safe, and their welfare will be maintained. And to do that as an interior designer is very, very important. And not everybody is educated to be able to bring that to their clients. So being a professional member of any professional organization, mine happens to be ASID, but there are several, that is extremely important because education, I have to be educated on all those points. We have to take several CEUs of health, safety, and welfare. It has to do with public in a space, which usually deals with commercial. But if you're truly acting as an interior designer concerned about your client, even in a residential space, that is extremely important. Just being able to lift your foot, to get in and out of your shower. We take that for granted. Someone that's not have their resources, someone who is, they're a veteran or they've been injured. Right. We were talking about military. These people have gone and fought for our country and had some disability and not able to move in and out of their spaces in their own home. And it's very debilitating. And someone who has gone through something like that, not being able to be as mobile in their own home. That's extremely important to me, to make sure that if anything happens, the health, safety, and welfare, making that happen in a space is vital.
Christine, I have to confess how ignorant I have been about the entire topic of interior design, and it couldn't have been more evident than when we were at Lynn Barrett's meeting, the trade group, and I saw your presentation on it, and I thought, you are bringing a whole other level to this conversation. Never thought about interior design really more than, hey, making sure you got the right colors and the right shape of the furniture to fit your personality. It's never occurred to me that it had to do with so much more, and the things that you take into consideration when it comes to the contractors that you use, your colors, shapes, and all of the details to make sure that what you really want to convey for that client, right, in that office, or really, or you want to live. You want to live a rewarding life. Well, wow, if you haven't really, if you don't know what you're doing in the interior design space, you can have a much more confused experience.
Right. So just going from the preliminary stages, because a lot of times, a lot of my work involves with programming. So that's making sure that I understand how you live and work and play in your space. And then curtailing the design to make sure that those needs are met. And after the project is ready to be installed, it's making sure that whoever's installing that, and contractors are very, very important, having the trust between myself and my clients with that contractor, installing whatever we've decided program-wise is vital, and making sure that whatever we've picked is installed appropriately and in the condition that we've budgeted, first of all, and that we've programmed it to be. So following those steps, following the contractor, even through, you have a contractor that does the tear out, and you have someone else that does the installation, or someone else who does the plumbing. Being there for that client and making sure that whatever's done in that job book gets installed according to the plan. That's important.
So you really manage the whole thing,
Right.
So you're the chief.
Right. Yes.
And so those relationships that you have in the community are so important, and the quality of work. You'd mentioned in another conversation just what can happen when that trust breaks down, because what you mentioned is something I actually hear quite a bit when I'm talking to different people in the trades. I can't guarantee my work if I don't install it. Right. And so often in the DIY world we can run to a home improvement store, we can get our own things and say, here it is, and now I need this contractor to install it, and yes, they'll do it.
Right.
Sure, they will. But what you need to make sure that all of those details, from the product, right? That's an insurance perspective, right? We need to make sure that it's not going to be faulty, and that that labor is taken care of, and that you can trust when it's going to get done. I would think that's probably way up there on your list of priorities.
So timeline is extremely important in a project, because again, time is money. If something takes a long time to install and you have something that's happening on the back side of that, and if pushes that back, it's a cost factor, and it's going to affect your project. So if you're waiting for sheetrock to go in and the electrical hasn't been done, it's really hard to process the rest of that project. So making sure that someone is guiding contractors, because a lot of times they're not going to be the same group. So making sure that all that's done in a timely manner is extremely important. And that's what designers help make that happen.
So you've got several great relationships in this community, but all over Texas, I imagine, because you're not limited. And how far do you go?
I actually have a project that I worked on in Port Aransas, and then I had a client in California. He's since moved here to Austin, so because Texas is better. I love California.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
So,
it is beautiful, but Texas, there's something about Texas it has my heart too.
Right, definitely. Right?
So you can you're not limited to any location.
No.
Does that mean that there's a certification to do what you do in various states? What does that look like?
Actually, each state is different. So Texas is we have a Texas Board of Architectural Examiners facilitates landscape architects, and interior designers. And I am actually registered with the Texas Board of Architectural Examiners. But the laws in Texas right now, we actually have some laws that we're hoping to get passed, and that's actually gone to the House to give interior designers more being on the same playing field like landscape architects and things like that. But as of right now, anyone in the state of Texas can call themselves the designer.
Oh, wow. So for some reason, you decided to
registered
level up.
interior designer is different. So I'm actually regulated by the Texas Board of Architectural Examiners. So whatever I do is scrutinized by that board. So I can be audited. I have to take certain classes. I have to be, there's a certain prestige, and there's a certain amount of information that I have to have. It's public. I mean, people can look up things about me. And I also have to be fingerprinted, because I'm dealing directly with the public.
Oh, wow.
Just like anybody in the engineering.
That's
Architects
wonderful.
have to do that. So definitely there's more, I feel like that there's more of a professionalism with someone who's registered.
And I would even say protection when you
Right.
mention all of those things.
Yeah.
Friends, are you enjoying Christine as much as I am? Listen, we're going to hear from a few of our sponsors, and when we come back, we are shooting at the lovely Trade Group, our location sponsor. You're going to hear from some others, and we'll be back in a few moments to talk with Christine Eustice some more.
The American business economy is positioned as it has never been before. Professional videography is a core element for attracting a higher level of engagement with the people group you need for significant impact. Now is your time to shine. My name is Bill Brock, owner of White Rock Films, and I invite you to a powerful opportunity in the marketplace, an opportunity to draw excited people to your events, an opportunity to showcase your ideas on infrastructure, an opportunity to become known as the industry authority and enjoy the associated benefits of a strong, influential brand. Video highlights, video teaches. Video puts a resistant market at ease, and video stirs the hearts and imaginations of your allies and strategic client base. White Rock Films offers full audio, video production for businesses ready to embrace the future, handling your project with professionalism, experience, and polish unheard of in the industry. My name is Bill Brock, and White Rock Films wants your business. See us online at whiterockfilms.com.
Hi, I'm the Yes Lady with Charla A, powered by Zeal Wellness. Zeal is my nutrition beverage of choice. It is 14,000 milligrams of superfood nutrition in a powdered formula that you can just shake it and take it out the door, grab and go, have energy, vitality, reduce your stress, some incredible health benefits. It's incredibly cost effective, and it is going to change your life. I'd love for you to join me. Go to charla.zealforlife.com, charla.zealforlife.com. Join me in being healthy, focused, full of energy, tastes great. Zeal for Life.
Welcome back to OffBeat Business TV. My name is Susan Hamilton. I'm talking with Christine Eustice with Benchmark Interiors, and she's been sharing with us before the break about the fact that credentials really protect the purchaser and probably protects you, because
Right.
you work with people also then that respect what that credential means.
Right. So one of the things one of the big shows that we have here in Texas is MetroCon, and it's a big trade show where designers, industry partners, and architects, we have a lot of architects that come, facilitate classes, and we have speakers and things like that. And I think it's very important and relevant for designers to stay abreast of what all the changes that are going on in the industry. It's extremely important now making sure that whatever we install, whatever we do, whatever we program it speaks to the health, safety, and welfare of the people living in the space. Another kind of aspect that ASID has kind of latched onto is called WELL, and it's making sure that whoever is in that space is taken care of, or their needs are met. So that means if there is a quiet room that they need to go to have a break, making sure that there is a space for them to go eat lunch. And a lot of times people won't eat lunch, they'll just work right on through. Having green things in the space, doing things that makes people whole in that space. So it's not just about what we're putting in the space, but how people are living and working and playing in those spaces.
That's interesting,
So-
and I can see the connection because we've talked enough to know that you play a pretty major role with Circle 10 Boy Scout Council.
Oh, yes. I have 2 boys in scouting.
So everything about your life says, I want to enjoy movement,
Right.
right? I want to enjoy the outdoors. I want to enjoy peace, right?
Right. One of my big sayings is motion is lotion. If you stand still,
Yeah.
you get stuck. So even in interiors, even being outside, I love to do outdoor rooms, taking the outdoors in and vice versa. It really is about making sure that people are comfortable. I mean, air quality inside is not always the best thing for us. So that's another thing to do with having a well building, having things that are clean inside, because 75% of our time is spent indoors. And if that's not a good environment for you, you're not going to function well, whether that's where you're working or where you're living. The same is true. So making sure that you have a space where you can function and be healthy.
It really makes me wonder, Christine, if we are not missing that part when we are looking at the local family business, because we really do decide to make cupcakes and sell them, right?
Right.
And then we get the team on board. And as some of the other interviews that we have on the OBBM network talk about, how important it is to think a little deeper than that. Think
Right.
about how we're going to create the environment that we want, which is, of course, what you're saying,
Right.
that this is under your control. But get some professional guidance here. There's so many details that I really wouldn't have thought anything about.
Right.
But everything from those colors, everything from the shapes, and the culture that you're creating, that's actually done, you're saying at the preliminary
Stages.
However,
Yeah.
most people have already gone. They've shot through the gate.
Right.
You know, they've been doing this 10, 15 years a lot of times. That they're going, wow, I wonder if I need to rethink
Right.
how we're doing things here so that we can have more creative space. And another conversation that I was having, so many in this market are hiring and people that maybe, whether they're in their family or friends of family, that are coming in with coming off of addiction. They're
Right.
coming off with criminal backgrounds, and we're wanting to employ them and put them to work, but we've got to make sure we're smart about that, because I think it's we have to do that. Somebody's
Right.
got to do this. How do we do it well? Well, it's quite possible we should be talking to someone who understands space like you do to help that brain heal, because there's so much of that in the recovery stage.
Right.
To do it so that they can bring their best to your company.
Right. I think it's extremely important that whenever you do anything preliminary in a space, especially if you're having someone to work in that space, you're not just asking the purse holders, the people that are actually paying for the project, but you need to ask the employees as well. So if you, like you said, if you have someone that's probably come off an addiction, or someone who is maybe not comfortable in their own skin, much less the environment that they're in, it's really a good idea to get the temperature of your employees and see how they work. See what space works best for them, what their needs might be. I mean, you might have someone that can't, they have to have an ergonomic chair to make sure that they can sit up to type.
Right.
I mean, that's important.
And even proximity, I
Right.
notice. So that some people they can't be so close
Right.
to other people or so close to noise, being super sensitive to those things. And that's not always easy to remedy, but I imagine that you've seen enough of this space to know how to advise someone about what they can do.
Well, sometimes it's just stepping away from what you're doing. So having a quiet room that someone knows that they're safe to go in and spend some time in, maybe it's 20 minutes, and they can check in, and there might be some essential oils that are available for them to help calm them down, put them in some kind of humidifier and let them just have a break. That's okay to step away. I know for the longest time, Americans have been really bad about just pushing through work and
True.
getting things done, and we really need to stop, take some time out during the day. And I think making a room accessible to your employees, if they can break away, is important.
It is. I mean, we're not necessarily saying you're going to go play ping pong
Right.
on your work hours, although some companies do that.
Right.
But it can be done. And
Google and
sure.
Yep.
I mean, that can. There's some ideal circumstances for that, I imagine. But when we're talking to the majority, that 80% of American micro to small business that are really dealing with some of these things, we need to start looking at how we're setting up.
Right.
We need to start thinking about acoustics, positioning in a very different way.
Right. Definitely finding out how that really and truly, it's about how they're working in their space and what's beneficial for them. Our most important asset, whether it's a family-owned business or whether it's a corporation, is your people, 100%. And if you're a family-owned business, those are your people.
Right?
That's your family.
Yeah, they'll be the ones
So-
around your hospital bed
Right,
one day.
Right. So really investing in that, making that preliminary programming beforehand, and even if you already have your space, changing it up and making that space more accessible for you, make it more healthy for your employees. They're going to want to stay.
And
You're
we're
not
gonna
going to have
make more
turnover
money,
rate. Right.
Right? So you're right. The
You're gonna
turnover rate is
happy-
one thing, but
Yep.
you're going to make some more money. And I think, friends, that you would all agree that it's about time that happened. Christine, how can our audience reach out to you?
You can go to my website, www.benchmarkinteriors.net, or you can call me. My cell number, 972-841-9388, or you can reach me email at Christine Eustice at benchmarkinteriors.net.
Now, if you're
And
driving down the
Facebook and
road, do what?
Facebook, and I'm on
Facebook,
Facebook and I'm on Instagram. So.
Facebook and Instagram, forgive me.
okay.
But that's so important. But if you're driving, if you're moving and you don't have a chance to get that, go download the OffBeat Business app where you can find all of our programs, and you'll be able to find easy links to reach out to Christine in all of these areas that she just mentioned. Christine, thank you so much for your time
Susan.
today. I
I
appreciate
appreciate
that.
you so much.
You've been watching OffBeat Business TV or listening to the OffBeat Business Show.
You've been listening to the OffBeat Business Show. Find our lineup, podcast, magazine, event calendar, and sponsor information, even our membership directory, all available on the OffBeat Business app or at offbeatbusiness.com. Download the OffBeat Business app today.